There we go. I got it that time. Mason the Dragon Jones. Welcome back.
Like...
Yeah, it was all about the pineapple, mate.
Sorry.
Mrs. must have given it you. Eat the fucking pineapple.
I just do what I'm told, but when it comes to that relationship, I indulge, do you know what I mean?
How you getting on then, champ? How you been?
Right, so brutally honest, after the fight, not great. Obviously, performance-wise, wasn't my finest hour, but like we watched it back, and the first round, as close as I thought it was going to be, mainly just because he's strong. I slowed him down in a few exchanges, and like the first round, I thought just because obviously he did that fucking rude jump kick to the face at the end of the round because I stood in range, and some of the exchanges we had, I think significant strikes. He had me up by he was up by a one strike, I think. I had it the count in my own head. So obviously I knew the first round I was just slightly behind, and then obviously my head went out the window a little bit, and I got a bit carried away, and I was like, right, I'm going to push, and I'm going to get this finish early on in the second. Whereas I should have stuck to my game plan, done what I was told. So I pushed out. I got slapped on my ass. I actually threw a feint. He bit. I check hooked him lovely. And then I followed into the gap a little bit square, and he hit me with 3 or 4 hooks back to back. And obviously put me on my ass. I worked back up. Obviously worked back into that round. But I just wasn't 100% in there. After that shot, I was a little bit dazed. And then the third round, I don't know. We don't talk about what happened in the third round, really. It's one of those, just like a chapter in my life we're not going to talk about.
Yeah.
Where my head just went a little bit out the window. I thought there was something there that wouldn't, and just embarrassed myself in front of 20,000 people or 18,000 people live, and I don't know how many people back home. But it is what it is. It is like, that's the first time I've ever gone out there and actually been beat. I felt like I've actually been beat in a fight, properly beat, because obviously the Mike Davis fight was always a lot of question marks, and like moving forwards I've always been on the dominant side, so it was just, that's the first one where I've ever had a bit of a paste in, especially against someone who I thought I was better than. Like, well, I know I'm better than, no disrespect to him because he's a very tough opponent. The thing is on that, then the opposite was that I had the whole few people who was like speaking to me, and they was like, obviously Mike Davis was a better opponent, obviously like we thought Mike was a better striker, but yet like you look worse in that fight, different things. I was like, oh, it's just a style. He was a defensive striker, whereas it made it awkward for me to sort of land combos against him because of the way he fought and the way he wanted to exit all the time. Like, he never really wanted to stay around for any sort of gunfights. He was always just in and out. So I was coming off not so coming off worse, because I like the first fight, I think when we were sniping at range, I think it was quite even, but I just needed to up the volume a little bit while still playing it cautious, just sniped at him a lot more and just up the volume. But it is what it is. Unfortunately, there were some other circumstances after the fight, no injuries, nothing like that, but just personal stuff, which really threw me for six. So I had a week, which is up there now with probably one of the darkest weeks of my life, where I really questioned a lot of things. Really did struggle for about a week. I was in a bad place. I don't think I got to bed for a week. And I managed to get through it, obviously, same way I did with everything else. And then the next week wasn't too bad. And obviously we got back to work. As soon as you get back to training, you start focusing on positive things and working through everything. And you just get through the other side of that tunnel. But yeah, it was rough for about a week, I think, where I wasn't really great in my head. I wasn't great in anything. Like, you just felt like I was in a bit of a black hole, where it's like I had no drive to go to bed. I had no speak to people. I actually read a lot more than I have before, to the point where I didn't really want to speak to people. I just was happy to sit in this little world and read and sort of just shut out the world. Sort of reverted myself. I went for some walks with the dog and different things. And I actually dropped a tidy bit of message, mainly because, like, talking to my coaches and different things, I was just getting I was getting educated answers back. And at the time, I didn't really want an educated answer. I just wanted people to listen. I just wanted someone who was just going to listen to me and not give me our opinion back. And just,
definitely.
So we went out for a walk, me and Tidy Butt. We ended up talking for about an hour and 10 minutes, I think. So it was good just to get some stuff off my chest. And
that's good.
Just some stuff that, it wasn't even to do with the fight. Obviously, a fight's a fight. I don't really you know how it is. Like it doesn't bother me so much. I don't take things personally. I'm more irritated in myself than anything else. Like when I finished the fight, I was just really irritated myself. I apologize to my coaches because I just threw the book out the window and just went in there and was like, right, fuck it, he's having a piss then. Let's just go in the second round. And obviously didn't just run on to some shots like a rookie. But it's actually like performance-wise, before a fight, it's the best I've ever felt. Easily the best I've ever felt. Like
you said that.
I expect if I expected a masterpiece, that was going to be the best I've ever felt in a performance. I had no injuries at all. I felt sharp. My striking, my wrestling was defensive. Felt sound. My jiu-jitsu, I feel stronger than I have before. And it was just a few different things. And like obviously walking on to a big shot like even though I recovered really quickly, it still spun me a little bit. And like I wasn't 100% in there, and it just come down to where I should have trusted my corner more and listened to what they were saying. And I just was too happy being a cowboy, and it just didn't really work out. So like obviously it's upsetting just because the circumstances were perfectly aligned. The stars aligned for me, and I didn't really make the most of it, which I have every single time past when the occasions lined up for me. I've always made the best of it, and that was my opportunity at the time. And like it's the biggest opportunity I've had to date. That was my time to become a star, and I sort of went from fifth gear back into first and blew the gearbox a little bit. So it is what it is. Like it's not over by long shots. We can rebuild.
Of course not. Of course not.
But it was just the other things going into it. There was a lot of other things. They're just personal shit, and it was drowning me a little bit. And obviously, it was a good job I had Mad there because she's good as gold. But yeah, it was just a bad 2 weeks. But yeah, all good now.
That's good. That's good to know. And also, I want to give you a bit of props actually, because not many people have said that they went into a bit of a spiral after something. Because, well, even Paddy said it, didn't he? After his fight, he was like, "We don't talk about it enough." And fair fucking play to you, Mace, for actually fucking saying it, because you're a fucking tough lad. Fights in the UFC. You know what I mean? Not many people expect someone to go, "I was in shit state." Do you know what I mean? And so massive props to that, and big shout out to Tidy Butt because he's fucking phenomenal. Matt is fucking brilliant. So is Reese, and both been on the show, so even better. But yeah, it's difficult when you go on into that sort of dark spiral, mate. I've been there, and you do want to shut everyone out. You're like, fuck off, will you? I just want someone to come up and just have a fucking beer with me and have a chat. I don't need you to fucking give me a lecture.
Was for me. It was. Sorry. It was like every time I was talking to people, it was like they were trying to give me educated answers, but it wasn't sort of there was no solutions. It was just, that's a bad idea. Like, it was like, well, I don't think this is a good idea. And I was like, all right, well, what do you do? And they're like, well, I don't know. I just think that's a bad idea. I'm like, well, none of this is helping. It's like, you're just telling me I'm doing something wrong all the time. And like, when you have sort of feels like you've got every person just, you're doing things wrong. So then when you turn around and be like, well, what do you think I should be doing? And they're like, well, why are you asking me? Why would I know? And I'm like, well, no one has the answer. And it was nice just to talk to Matthew because like obviously I'm surrounded by people who are very educated in different things, and they're educated people. Not saying Matthew's an idiot, but Matthew was happy just to sit there and just not say anything.
Sometimes you need someone just to be there, just to listen to you fucking air all the shit. Just I want to get all this crap off. Like you said, you've had a few personal problems. You ended up losing what could have been a potentially a fucking star performance. Do you know what I mean? You're like, someone just let me fucking someone let me explode here, because otherwise I'm just going to keep all this in. Let me fucking even down to the point, let me have a fucking cry if I need it. Just fucking do you know what I mean? And
mate, I'm a good cry. It's good. It's always good to have a good cry.
Oh yeah, I love a cry, mate.
It was just the frustration, like the whole, like, I can't even explain to people, but it just felt as if like when I was there, it just felt like I've never in my life, even when I talked before, when I had a low point before, whereas I injured my shoulder once when I was younger, and they told me I may not be able to do it. But like felt like everything was crashing down. Like I've never really felt alone before, and it was weird. It's the only time I've ever been surrounded by people and I ever felt really alone. And like even like my friends I'm really close with and different things, like the boys who I can feel like I can tell anything to, it just felt like none of them would sort of understand where I was, and like they would have opinions of what I wanted to do, and I didn't want anyone to give me an opinion, because most people's opinion was, well, you're doing something wrong, but then they couldn't tell me the right answer, and it was just so backwards. It was just like I literally just, it took me a little bit just to sort of to settle everything and get everything sorted, and sort of to try and get on the right track and try and get back to what I felt was the right thing to do, and sort of to figure out what the right thing to do is, because I had no clue what the right thing to do was. My coaches and all had an idea of where, like, it wasn't even so much as like what we're going to do, where we're going to go, and like what we need to do to fix some of the problems in my actual fighting thing, on my actual fighting career. But the other thing with it was just to do with like personal choices and some of the personal relationships in my life, and just some stuff I had like that I was dealing with to do with like my close family, and just some other things like that. It's just, it was a lot. Like, it sounds like I'm going to come out as gay. I'm really not. But it was a lot of things, do you know what I mean? But it's good to have Mad there. Mad's good as gold. And
I heard that you're you're going through the change, mate. That's what I heard. You're going to be the first UFC transgender athlete.
Female champion, yeah, 100%. 100%. No, it was things, and yeah, it feels good now. Like, back training, back improving different things, and it's still a lot of question marks on things, but we've got plans in place, and I'm sort of sorted things, and I've had to cut a few different things, and just like the main thing was just, it was just a few personal relationships I had. It was just sort of wearing me down and just exhausting me, and it was just sort of like felt like I was getting nowhere. And sometimes it's just difficult, because you have people in your life who mean the most to you, and when they stop being positive and start becoming not so much even a negative, but something that's is just not helping the situation, and it's just there's no benefit from it, then it's hard, because obviously it's someone you've invested a lot of time in doing. There's a lot of things that tie you to that person, and then having the decision to sort of try and separate yourself from someone, it is a hard thing to do, because like, obviously you feel as if you owe the person something, and obviously you can a lot of the time, but it's just like sometimes you just got to be selfish. You've got to pick the right things to do. And so anyway, me and Mad should be going out back to America soon. The next few weeks, I made book flights today. Actually, I made book flights yesterday, and then I still had a few questions about a few things, make sure I had the dates right and I didn't fuck anything up. I think I've sorted it all now, so we're just going to book them today before we talk too much. Get some dates sorted and some flights sorted, and plan it all out. And then start of September, we're going to go back out to California, and then might be going to Missouri for 2 weeks to try a gym out there, and then decide if I'm staying there or if I'm going back to Team Alpha Male, and decide what the plan is. But it's hard, obviously. Like California, I've got a lot of good friends, but a lot of boys in the gym are sort of disappearing off to different places, and a lot of them are sort of retiring or going in different things, directions. And the coaching at Team Alpha Male, a lot of the coaches have started their own gyms and actually left the gym. Sort of like everything's starting to come through, and there's not that much fresh people coming through. So when I was actually doing my last camp, I actually started with two really good boys. They were my main training partners for it, which was Kaleo and Chris Gonzalez, fights in Bellator. Chris Gonzalez, Kaleo fought in Contender. Unfortunately, didn't go through. And Chris had a bad night in Bellator. But they were two wrestling heavy guys, so I did a lot of wrestling defensive stuff. Obviously trained with a full camp with no opponent, and then 10 days out they gave me a striker, so that was fun. But like I said, like I felt awesome. Like I warmed up, and it's the best I've ever felt. Because even when they showed the clip of me warming up before the fight, I looked smooth in that clip, and that was like we slowed down because the video was in there. When I was flowing, like when I remember one time, you know, when you feel smooth, because there's like other fighters in there. Like there was, I think Manson was in our changing room. Was it Jack Manson? Jack Manson. No, it wasn't Jack Manson.
I don't know. I wasn't there.
Time was in my. It was Nathaniel Wood. Nathaniel Wood. His old man. There was someone else from Nathaniel Wood's gym.
Brad Pickett.
And then the other fight they got. Who's the other one who's fighted? Like, he fought in that card as well. And then like, well, anyway, we were coming up, and I remember like I started flowing, and I really started flowing and going, and you just hear it, like the room go quite quiet, because like you go and everyone just sort of like takes a breath and watches. Like that's when you know you're really hitting and then you're really flowing. And I felt so dangerous, and I felt like it was my time. And then obviously I went out there and I just couldn't get going. Not so much like I felt as if I was held back, or like I've told you before, I had problems where like my legs felt heavy or this thing, but I just couldn't actually get in. In fact, every time we started exchanging, I was like trying to force it a little bit too much, and then I was stuttering a little bit. Like I was hitting with some singles and some doubles, and I couldn't really get into the flow, and then I just couldn't apply pressure very well. And it was like he was running a lot, and then I was sort of like cutting it out. I couldn't quite catch him, and I just needed a bit more. I need a bit sharper, more as a sniper. I need to be picking holes in him more and just wearing him away, just picking and picking and picking. And them knees were like, the knees I was hitting with the body were brilliant. They were the best thing did in the fight. And I just need to stay on, keep wearing him down and start hitting them long teeps. More kicks to the body I should have really done. I should just kept wearing at him. And I just wanted to knock him out in front of 20,000 people, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or 18,000 people. I just really want to knock him out.
Definitely getting the rush.
Running on into something.
Because of course it was the first time in the UFC fighting in front of a crowd. Excuse me, fucking face stopped working. Fighting in front of a crowd. Fucking, what is wrong? I haven't even had a drink.
My first fight in front of my family. So that was fun.
Yeah, that was good for him, wasn't it? Cheers.
Watch me get
Mate, I was watching at home. I was watching at home, and I had all Kate's family around me, and I was like, "Oh, Mason's fighting next. He's my fucking. He's a mate of mine. Fucking, he's took me for breakfast. I was like, he's fucking brilliant." And they all looked at me after you lost, and they were like, "We lost." I went, "It happens." I was like, cheers. I was like, cheers, guys. Like,
my Thai coach back home said when the third round started and I come out, he was like, "You've been dropped and everything." He said, but he was slowing down. He was like, he was really positive. And then like he see me throw that obviously what I did in the third round. We're not going to talk about because it's embarrassing. But I started the third round. 4 minutes in, I went for that thing. And he said he just literally just stood up and walked out the room. He said no one said anything to him. He was in with all his family. He just stood up and walked out the room. I just walked out. So he didn't come back. He said someone could have told him later on I'd lost. He was like, yeah, he knew. I just got up and walked out.
Yeah. It's like I've always said, especially in fights, it's learning, isn't it? It's not really, but obviously it will go down as a loss, but it's that old cheesy saying that it's a learning game. You know what I mean?
11-2, I think now. Am I 12-2 or 11-2? One of them.
11, 2 and 1 in it. Because you got the no contest in the brackets because you're a dirty bastard and you poked him in the eye. Oh, he's frozen. It's frozen. It's frozen on a very unfortunate. Let's take a photo of that for you. What's going on? Well, we are frozen on this week's episode. I'm going to press pause.
I was talking to you then, and I was really getting into a flow. And when I looked, you were just like, yes.
Yeah, same with you. I've taken a photo of you because you look ridiculous.
Yeah, it was just like, it just feels like at the minute, it's like, I'm so close, but it just hasn't clicked. And like, when I get that click, it just feels like I'm just going to be walking through. It's like, I feel like my striking is better than everyone. Like, I feel like my wrestling is almost there. And like, I feel like my jiu-jitsu is just obviously way underutilized, but I know I can sub anyone. Like, I know I'm so close. And just as soon as it clicks and everything mashes together, like, I do think I can be a world champion. And I do believe that I'm going to be one of the top fighters in the world, if not the best. Like, it's just a matter of getting there, do you know what I mean? Especially after Leon on the weekend, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it just shows it doesn't matter where you're from, you can make the most of the opportunity and you can make it count.
Definitely. And I think one of the fights that I really saw you properly click in was obviously the no contest when the cunt decided to
Alan
fucking flake out and go, "Oh, he poked me in the eye." Shut up, you homo! And fucking.
It's my fault. Just flew into him. He's been kept in the UFC now, thank God. So fires to Brazil.
Take him out there. Beat the fuck out of him. Here's me, Billy Big Bollocks behind the camera here. It's gonna be. I'll fight him.
I tell you what, though, this you'll appreciate this. Some of the hate messages I had after that fight, they were fantastic. So I had someone, right? So listen to this now, right? So obviously the fight finished in the cage. They give his hand raised. I went to walk out the cage. And my coach was like, "No, be respectful. Go say, like, shake his hand." Bear in mind, I already shook his hand, spoke to him. So I was like, "This is just too much. Like, I just need to leave." We went to interview him. I had to walk over and shake his hand, look like a right bell end again, and just give him a quick knuckle bump, said thank you, and left. So we got back out to the cage. They walked us back to the tunnel, and as we got to the waiting area, they gave me my phone, and I literally spoke to man on the phone, like was arranging where to meet her, and then my phone pinged. So all my notifications are off. So the only thing that come through is email. So I thought it was a receipt from the UFC for getting paid.
Oh, yeah.
No, someone had gone on my Instagram, gone to my website, gone to the contact me part of my website, found my email address, emailed me an abusive email, and sent it me all before I'd even seen the doctor.
Oh my God.
So like we were obviously like, I was really upset. I felt like shit. I like Mad was crying obviously because she just seen me eat about 7,000 elbows.
Yeah.
And then I just picked up my phone, thinking it's UFC, and I opened it up. I just burst out laughing. The coach was like, "What are you laughing at?" I showed them, and they were like, "For fuck's sake!" And it was just like literally, Mason Jones, you're a waste of what? You're a shit waste of life or something. you should retire or something like you Ludwig's bitch. And I just burst out laughing. It was like someone's got way too much time on their hands.
That is too much time. To the fact that he's watching it on the telly and gone, "Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to fucking email him. That's what I'm going to do." Fuck off.
They haven't even tweeted me or sent me an Instagram message. Like, obviously, I had those. Like, Instagram's the worst. You have so many people message on Instagram saying, "You cost me my bet. You owe me money," is the best one. Or like, right. "You cost me my bet. I lost my betting slip because of you. I haven't got no money." I'm like, "Mate, what do you want me to do? Say like, oh, here we go. How much do you spend? I'll just pay Paddy the money." Do you know what I mean? I was like, "Who do you think you are?" Like, I was like, "Don't fucking bet on fights, then." There's a good one.
Yeah. Obviously. Excuse me, I'm a burp. But it's fucking mad, isn't it? Because I bet you if they met you so like at a UFC fucking expo or something, they'd all be like, "Hey, it's the fucking dragon, isn't it? Let's have a fucking photo."
Do you know what I mean?
Fucking hell. Fuck off. Do you know what I mean? These keyboard warriors have never even been in a fight. I lost. Oh. This might be my internet that's playing up.
This phone. It's the Wi-Fi. It is the Wi-Fi in the house is dipping. I don't know why.
It might be mine because I'm down.
No, I'm in my. It's definitely mine.
I'm in my hole. But yeah, I
shed.
Yes, mate. But I find it like there's a lot of people that have never had a fight that have got a lot of opinions on fighters and fighting. Like to be fair, I think my opinion may have been wrong on Saturday with the boxing, because I did have a few beers while I was watching it. But I thought Anthony Joshua was a lot closer than what a lot of fans and pundits have said. I was like, when I was watching it, I was like, I'm swear he was up by a good couple of rounds. And then the last 3 rounds, Usyk took over 100%. But my brother-in-laws were watching it with, I was down the pub, but they were watching it. And apparently my missus' youngest brother was proper really into it. He was shadow boxing while it was on. This cunt's never had a fight ever. He was like, he said it's a fucking stupid shit. And I was like, when my other brother-in-law told me about it, I was like, I'm glad I didn't watch it with you, because I think I would have put him through a wall or something. Oh, it's just unbelievable. It's like I don't even think he's had a street fight.
It's good fun watching with people casual, so because they get so involved. Casuals get so involved, and it's nice to have that energy there, because like it was like the Leon fight. It's like I said it was surprising. It's like if it'd been the other way around, and Usman had been getting beat the way that Leon was for 3 rounds, because like he won the first round, but it was close, and then Usman just sort of come out in the second round and just put it on him, and he beat the like it wasn't like a one-sided like. Bit it was close rounds. If you go around, I think I would have seen people getting up the stadium and leaving. I think you would have.
Mm.
Like people who were just like, oh, like they do like they do in football games, Johnny. When you see like a team like Man United when they went down, what was it, 4-0 in 38 minutes.
We don't talk about
that.
That's gone. That's gone now. We gloss over that. We beat Liverpool on Monday.
If he was there, you would have seen new fans getting up and just walking out and leaving. Do you know what I mean? That's what it would have been like. But I just liked it. Like, have you seen the Cejudo video where Cejudo's filming himself, and then it's like he's talking to Ali, and he goes, "Ali, easy money, my friend. End of the fifth, easy money," and Ali's celebrating. And then just a minute later, you just hear the head kick go off because it was a clunk, and you just hear them all go silent. Like everyone's faces drop, and they're all like,
"Fucking
just hilarious."
Different gravy, mate. The mixed martial arts fight game, because so many different weapons in there.
Just takes one.
Just takes one.
Takes one.
Fucking coffee's going down. Fucking making me
acidic.
Like, yeah, mate. Jesus, it's a bit late to be having coffee, like, but
mate, I wouldn't sleep if I had a coffee now. I wouldn't sleep.
Who gives a shit? I'm on holiday.
On my holiday.
So you're.
Here we go.
You haven't got a fight scheduled, and you're obviously going off to America to start doing a bit more training and whatnot. What else are you doing with your downtime? Because obviously that's a big part of, well, fucking relaxing. I mean, you've come off a tough fight. You've had your.
So at the minute.
Oh,
go on.
No, I was just saying you've come off your tough fight. You had your personal issues, and you're in a dark place. But obviously, you need to chill out. You can't just get straight back into it. That's not going to be good for the old noggin, mate. Especially the amount of times you get punched in the head. What?
I know. I'm already starting to forget things more.
Well, you remembered the podcast today, though. So that's a win.
And you'll realize. So anyway, so am I back?
There we go. We're back.
Sorry about this. So was me. But anyway, so I had a week off. I had a week where we was just restrained. I didn't really do much. Like I was building back in, and then I pulled the trigger. Then after that, I got back stuck in. So I had 2 weeks sort of rest. The third week is where I started getting back in properly. So then I literally just trained like 3-4 times a day. So I mean, I get up at 6 a.m. I'm either in the gym at 7 or I'm usually in the gym or running at 7. Like Monday I run 7.5 miles, 7 a.m. So I get my early session in, then I train either back to back where I'll train like 8:15 to 9:30, or I'll do back to back where I'll do 8:15, 9:10, and then 10:10, and then from there, then I'll go home, have lunch, chill out for a bit, and then get one more session in. And then some days I'll do an evening session instead of a 12 o'clock session. So I'm doing like 3-4s a day, getting back to it. And then like the time in between is just like I'm trying to sort a few different things out, like while I'm home, sorting a few things out here and there. I've been sorting my medicals out so I can get back medically cleared, and just like sorting stuff for the marrow gap and mad sort stuff, sorting stuff for the dog. But like I haven't really done much. I went down and seen Hot Wheels the other day. Hot Wheels is my buddy who's in a wheelchair. He's back on the mend now. He's flying around with his crutches all the time, but he's still wheeling around in a wheelchair a lot as well. So I went down, I got out and just chilled with him, have coffee and kind of pick him up. He's a lot more positive as well now because he's starting to get places and just bought a house. And they're starting to do that up and loads of different. Feels like at the time, if I'm not training, I'm not getting back in and doing 3 days or 4 days and looking after myself, it feels like I'm sort of receded. Like I'm not just stalling, it feels like I'm going backwards. So for me, I need to be active all the time. So
yeah.
Like it's different if you go away for a weekend, have a trip, but obviously after this fight, because I had different bills and stuff to pay off and only had half my purse, I didn't really have any spare money after this fight. Like it was just sort of like I paid off the bills from the last camp. I got money towards the next camp, and then I paid some of the bills off I had. And now I'm waiting to get my sponsors to pay me so I can pay off the rest of the payments the camp I had, and then I can start looking out and Do you know what I mean at that minute? But I'm waiting to get medically cleared, so I got an extra. I got an MRI tomorrow now. I had an X-ray on my shin after the fight, make sure I didn't break my foot. Because I kicked in the knee and the elbow a few times, and my foot was all swollen black. Shock, but it did actually look fractured this time. So they X-rayed it, but it was fine. I got bones like steel bars, and then I got an MRI on my shoulder, an MRI on my knee. There's no problems there. They just minor inconveniences. My surgeon just said, like, basically, you just tweak in, but you need to make sure they're cleared. So then I'll have some physio banked up of the UFC. And then I'm waiting for a new contract, actually. I thought it's basically they're just waiting for me to be medically cleared so they can renegotiate a contract and sort it out. Obviously, coming off a loss, I'm not going to be asking for a great amount of money, but hopefully the money will go up a little bit, and then we can look to get a new fight sorted and some new dates sorted.
Yeah, definitely. So, what about jumping out of planes? Not had a chance?
Since I told you. No, with COVID and stuff, obviously, there was problems. Then my jump center closed, and obviously I've been a bit restrained. Then I've been in America. So what I need to do is I need to sort that out and get back and doing a few jumps because I do like it and I do enjoy it. I also want to get a motorbike again. I want to get a motorbike for ages, and you need money for that. I don't even have a car at the moment. That's all gone. I'm just borrowing cars left, right, and center. But it's just
a glamorous lifestyle
until I can get a base sorted. Ew.
The glamorous
my
lifestyle
priority
of
at the moment
fighter.
is to my priority at the moment is to get a sort of get my training and stuff sorted out, get a fight date booked in, and sort of look to get a house somewhere, so a camp house. So whether that means in California, whether that means somewhere else, I just need to get a base sorted. So I've got a base so that I can pull coaches in, and I've got my own place sorted, and that's my next on my agenda. Like I got some money saved up, but I need to find a place, and I need to get a good fight, get a good win under me, and get a bit of money netted away so I can start pushing. But it's just the same as it always is. Every time you start getting somewhere, it looks like you're having a bit of money. The tax man come across, and he's like, "Hang on a minute now, hang on a sec.
Give me some of that.
I could use a bit of that."
Yeah.
So I got to sort that out as well.
Need to get yourself over to Switzerland or something.
Dubai or Texas or Vegas, yeah. One day.
It's well, it's all a work in progress, isn't it? Definitely.
Always a work in progress.
Right, dude.
Oh,
I'm gonna ping you another link because Zoom is brilliant, mate. So what happens with Zoom now? It gives you a whole 40 minutes. So it's not like we used to be able to do where we could just fucking go for hours. But what I'm gonna do is I'll stop this one, adverts, and then I'll ping you another link, and then we'll continue until you fall asleep. I think it looks like you already have fallen asleep, mate.
5. Take me anywhere now, because I've lost you.
All right, I will do. There he is. He's moved.
Should be better than it, like change scenery again.
He loves a bit of a change of scenery.
Always. I can only stay for 10 minutes, so I got to be up at 6 a.m. again. So I need
that's
to get
all good,
bed.
mate. That's all good. Tell you what we'll do then, mate. Seeing as we got a little bit of time, I've actually got some questions this time. This doesn't happen often.
Oh my god, you got some preparation in?
I put the questions out. I tell you what, fucking hell. Usually, I put it out and I don't get no response. And I'm like, and then whoever the guest is, will go, "Oh, I thought you put out. There's some questions." And I'm like, "Yeah, nobody cares." So I thought, well, I'll tell you what I should do is do it like the day before, so that they've got a bit of time. They're like, "Yeah, forgot that. I did it earlier, but I've got some questions." So that's the main thing.
Here we go, man.
So first one is, how does Cage Warriors compare to the UFC?
So, organization skills. why, like organization wise, it is literally like going up a different league in football. So going from a Division 2 team to a Division 1 team. Like even I've got friends who fight in Bellator and different things. It's like completely different cut of fish. Do you know what I mean? It's completely different animal. Like security wise, the organizational wise, the way everything's done. Obviously, it's got its problems and a lot of things. And like people who are listening who are in the UFC will be looking at me and be like, "Are you serious?" But like when the actual event is in place and the way like the kit and stuff is done and like the interviews and everything you sort out and like when you get the event, it's just next level. It is, and the way they do it and the way they look after you is just phenomenal. The level opponent wise, obviously it is a jump. European, you get some guys coming through, and sometimes they're animals. Do you know what I mean? And they deserve to be in the UFC, but on a general level, the level in the UFC is slightly higher. On like most of the time, for me, actually, the place I am in at the moment, where I'm unranked and I'm fighting guys who are coming up, I think it's more difficult because when you get a number on you and you're fighting ranked guys, you know exactly what you're getting. You can plot a route. You could say, I want this number, then I want this number, and then I want this number, and then I want this number. And if that doesn't work out, they may give you another number or another guy, but they're usually going to be fighting ranked guys. You'll know which way you want to go, and then you'll get like, you could, whenever you get like 2 fights in, or you rank like 9th or 10th or 8th, then you can start looking at like the number 3, the number 4, or the number 5, or the number 2, and start looking at those guys, and then you start putting yourself in title contention position. But like where I am at the moment, it's just like they could literally give me a name, and it could just be a guy I'd never heard of before, and it could be someone the UFC's just signed, and they could, like the last 2 of my fights, the one they give me a week's notice, and then the last one they give me 10 days notice. Do you know what I mean? And the last one I had 10 days notice where I fought Klein. They like it wasn't a yes or no answer. Like they gave me the name and that was who I was fighting, and that was it. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't. I didn't even agree to it. I just said, yeah, wherever. Let's just go.
Fair play.
So it's difficult. Like obviously, when you start fighting ranked people, you start getting preparation people. Then obviously the opposite to that is you fight people who would deserve to be there with a number on the name. Whereas like I'm not fighting Alan Patrick's the world where I can go out and just beat them for 7 minutes. Do you know what I mean? I'm fighting people who are in there for a fight. So there's positives and negatives to it all. But yeah, the UFC is definitely a completely different cut of fish.
There you go. There's one question. So second question. Do you plan a game plan for every fight, or do you just, pardon the pun, roll with the punches?
Every fight, there's always a game plan in place. Like we do video analysis, we do breakdowns, we pick holes. Like it's something you should do. You try and find a way to beat the opponent. Obviously, my last game plan, I stuck to for like 3 minutes, and then I started to get carried away again at the end of the first. And I went back. They sat me down and said, "Look, you need to listen. You do what you're told." And I was like, "Right, yeah, cool." There's like, just keep it up, smart pressure, just go in there, stay on him, they keep doing what you're doing, and I just rush at him and go drop. But yeah, we do. We always game plan. You always have specific stuff, and like you have a plan A, you have a plan B, you have a plan C, and then if those don't work, you change it up between the rounds. And like obviously the other thing is as well is you work on strong parts. So like obviously a brilliant example that you'll see on social media is the Leon Edwards and Kamaru Usman finish, where they showed Leon Edwards' cornerman working on a head kick setup, where they were throwing the jab, throwing the cross. Well, they're throwing the jab, throwing a hook, then getting the back out. Whereas Leon threw the cross as blinder and making him move into the head kick and making him walk into it. But it's easy to pick holes in people's games at times, like especially when you know what you're doing, you're looking at it on film. But actually pulling it off in real life is different.
Yeah, definitely. And I think a lot of casuals don't realize that. Do you know what I mean? A lot of casuals think that you guys just fucking go in there for a scrap, but
just brawl out.
Yeah, but no, they plan. Yeah.
Well, like Mike Tyson says, everyone has a plan till they get punched in the face. It's funny because a lot of the people they look at the fight and they're like, well, I don't know why he's not doing this. Why ain't he doing that? Why is he not throwing the combos like you see him do? And it's like, well, these are the type of people who've never been in there. Do you know what I mean? They've never been in there trying to actually hit another human being who knows how to defend himself. You see them in the gym and they're throwing videos up where they're throwing a 1-2 left hook, and it generally looks like I've seen kids with one arm throw better left hooks.
Pads don't really fight back or move really. So
or bags.
They're there to make you look. I've always said it. Yeah, anybody can look good on pads.
I agree.
unless you're really shit. then just get out. Just get out. Go on.
Just
stop. Just stop. I actually, because I started boxing for a little bit just recently. I stopped. Yeah, I told you, didn't I? I sent you the message. Yeah, so I've stopped recently because we need to save a bit of money. Not that it was expensive, but a few different things cropped up, and we had to save a bit of money. So boxing was like, But anyway, I remember going there, and they said, "Have you boxed before?" I was like, "Yeah, I used to box for the Air Force. So I've done a white collar, which isn't nothing special, but I've done all that. I can hold pads, I can punch pads, blah blah blah." And I was on the pads, and I was doing it, and obviously my fitness is no good. I'm shit. I'm a shit house at the minute, but I was smashing away on these pads, and they went, "Cool, you're quite fast for a big lad." I was like, "That's a really backhanded insult right there. Backhanded compliment. Cheers. You basically just said I'm a fat fuck." But anyway, that's right. I'm fast, and I can knock you out if I want it. Just saying. Next question for you.
It only takes one.
It only takes one, mate.
It only takes one.
You've basically already covered this, and you've covered it in previous episodes, but I'll ask it anyway. Will you consider heading to the US to train? Do you think that you need to able to progress in the UFC?
Right. So, am I going to head to the US? Yes. Do I think you need to do it to progress? I don't think you do. No, I don't. I think it makes it easier because the wrestling level is over there. The way I always phrase it is the striking level in the UK is better than the US. I agree. Jiu-jitsu level, the BJJ for the casuals, the ground stuff you see people rolling across the floor trying to wrestle each other on the floor, is better in the US than it is in the UK. And the wrestling, which is the stuff in between when they're standing up and they're wrestling before they hit the ground, is better in the US. So it's like 66% of the MMA game is better in the US. The diversity on sparring partners is better in the US. The amount of sparring partner in the US and the higher levels sparring guys is better in the US. But the better level sparring guys for striking is better in the UK. You can get high level strikers who are just literally guys down a local gym training a high level striking all over the place. You get high level boxing, you get high level K1. But then, like, it's the same as Thailand. Do you know what I mean? Like, Thailand has even higher level striking guys. They have, like, you can get, like, high level in different areas. But then, obviously, they'll be missing something. Do you mean something you don't have in the UK? Yeah. And I don't know. It's just, it's always hard. Like, the easiest thing to do is to build your own team and to build what you need and make it personal for you. But that takes either a lot of money or a lot of grit and a lot of sort of different people to put their energies into one place. And then the only thing you struggle with is, like, if you build a team in the UK, so, like, obviously, again, I mentioned it multiple times, you have to mention it because he's the second British champion in the UFC ever. Like, obviously, Leon's done where he's trying to build his own gym. It's fantastic, but it's hard to get high level guys. England in a big city, major city is the best idea. Like, Birmingham is a major hub.
Well, you've got you've got GB top team now, haven't you, with Brad Bickett and Nathaniel Wood.
I just think in the UK, you'd have to move. Like, I don't think I could do it in Wales. I just don't think Wales is a diverse enough area for volume of MMA fighters.
This is one of the questions that I was going to sort of ping to you. Actually, you don't have to answer if you don't want to. Well, I've always noticed you've obviously got your corner. You've got your Welsh cornerman, but you do most of your training over in the US. How does that, like, coincide? Like,
shit most of the time, especially the last two, because obviously problems with financial side things where I couldn't get them out to help camps and different things. So, like, literally two of my cornermen sat me down in the last one because Linda, my boxing coach, we always make sure we get him out at least 2 weeks. Next one, we're going to try to get him out for 2 weeks and back for 2 weeks and then out for 2 weeks again. So he's there for 4 weeks out of the 6-week camp. But the other two, they literally sat me down and was like, look, we haven't seen any of your training and you're expecting us to corner you for a fight and we haven't seen any of you inspire and we haven't done much prep for it. Like, we don't think this is optimal at all. And I said, well, I know, I want to do something different. I want to be able to get you out to help with camps. But one, you've both got personal lives. And two, I'm not financially stable enough at the moment to be able to afford to do it. Like, if I had my own place, and I'm not paying accommodation costs, and they paying their food costs, and I'm just giving them a bit of a salary, and then we sort some other stuff out, then it's not really too much. Do you know what I mean? I pay for their, like, even if I just paid for their, I had a place sorted, paid for their flights and put them up for 6 weeks, then like it ain't the end of the world. Do you know what I mean? They would need to be earning money, and like that would be the next step. But like I'm not even got admin, I haven't really got a base, so it's hard. It's hard. A lot of different pieces moving at one time, and like everyone says, like the pay in the UFC is fine. Like they're like, oh yeah, well, how much do you get paid? And I was like, well, I'm on 12 and 12, so I had 12K for my last fight. I had 4,500 in Venom sponsorship money, and they're like, oh well, that's 16,500. I was like, well, one, that's dollars, $16,500, which is about 12,500, £13,000. I said, two, I haven't paid tax on that yet, so I have to pay tax on that.
Yeah.
And then three, I have to pay all my coaches. I have to pay for my training camp fees. I have to pay for my bills. So that's 12.5 grand at the end of the year. I was like, which is my income? They're like, well, don't you have another income? I was like, yeah, but I'm also trying to sort this, and that. I'm trying to do this, and this, and that. And it costs more money. And they're like, well, it doesn't make any sense. Like, it was like, they just see the big chunk. They don't see the journey.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's one of those things. It's like, you'll see it. Like, oh, I go in there and fight Nagano for $12,000. And I'm like, oh, yeah. I was like, that's great. I was like, but then you have to pay this fee. You have to pay this fee. Like we said about the boxing club, but like I pay like 6 different gym fees. I'm supposed to be paying my coaches this and this and that. And like, it's just hard. It is hard to make stuff work. And like even the pro boxing world around Wales, like I know a lot of people who are pro boxing, they're just not earning money. They're just not.
Yeah.
Like the sponsorships in the middle.
That's a big thing, mate, because they obviously see that they see the Tyson Furies, they see the Anthony Joshuas, and they're like, well, they get paid 50 million. It's like, yeah, but they're the fucking top. Do you know what I mean? You're still working your way through. You're double champ at Cage Warriors. You got signed by the UFC, so you've gone from top of the pile in the Cage Warriors, and then you've gone, and then you're now you're like, I'm here. I need to let me fucking go. Let me bang, bro. Let me bang, bro.
Let me bang. What I will tell you is Bellator's paying their fighters and PFL's paying their fighters very well, very, very well. So an example of that is Anthony Pettis. Obviously, you'll remember Anthony Pettis from the WEC days, who did the cage run and kick Ben Henson in the face, which was right everywhere for ages. In the UFC, he was paid between 100 and 200,000 a fight when he was at the top. When he went to Bellator, and obviously he was allowed to have sponsors and different things, he was getting paid 500 to 600,000 a fight. Now he's signed to PFL. Apparently, he's on 750,000 with his sponsors per fight. 750K,
which is mad because he's lost.
Which sounds like a stupid amount of money. And then, yeah, exactly. And then you look at like I said, the Joshuas, the Jake Pauls, and different things.
We don't mention
like the income they have just from sponsorships alone.
We don't mention Jake
money. That's all I
know. It's fucking bullshit. Bullshit. I'll fight him. when I'm a big podcast, I'll fight him.
Mate, I'd take him to a decision. I'd happily go to a decision with him and just literally jump around and slap him around.
I would take a
dive like Floyd did for a cup for 1 million. I do it. Yeah. For 1 million easily.
Do it. Last question on the list. Did you see the Leon Edwards head kick on Usman, and what was your reaction to it?
I haven't seen that. No, I haven't seen it. I haven't. No, I just haven't seen it. I didn't know about that.
Nobody's seen it.
Of course, I've seen it.
But you're living under a rock.
All I would say is, let's live under a rock. Especially, all you got to do is open the UFC Twitter at the moment, and everything's Leon Edwards, and it's well deserved because Leon, for some reason, just doesn't screen well when it comes to his social media side of things and his presence, and he just doesn't have much of a back, and they don't really push him. But like he's the second ever British champion, second ever. He's the first. Do you know what I mean? Him and Bisping are the first two to do it, and like you said, he's the first one who's done their camp solidly out in the UK and proved that someone from the UK, or like you said, someone from the trenches can do it. They can become a world champion, and yeah, it's just an amazing achievement. Like it's something that won't be recreated. And the only thing that upsets me really upsets me, and this is genuine as well. I'm not being sarcastic. This genuinely upsets me and really does piss me off. Is you see what happened with obviously Jiri won the title and went back to Croatia, and they had a parade. They stopped in the city. They had different things, and they really made the fuss out of it. Like you see it a lot in the Soviet countries and different things. They really back people. Leon will go back to Birmingham, and they won't be anything. Like the people will go out of the way and go to the airport. But
it happened with Bisping as well. Bisping won it, and it was barely on the news. And I was like, this is ridiculous. I've said it for years, mate. Especially we can use Leon as an example for this year, but especially when Bisping won the title, even down to the sports personality of the year, you never see a mixed martial artist in there. You see boxers in there, you see fucking tennis players in there, you see a lot of jockeys in there, and you're like, well, a lot of these people don't have a fucking personality. It's sports personality. Michael Bisping, yes, he was quite controversial in his time when he spat on people and things like that, but he's a personality, and he's the first British fighter and first English fighter.
I'm a big fan of Bisping, I am, and I don't really have fans, but he's a lovely bloke, and
he has a hell of a story as well.
Yeah,
and it's like
100%.
But I've seen and listened to him on TalkSport before, and they're like, they try and poo-poo the UFC, and it's like, what are you doing? It's genuinely a beautiful sport. The amount of stuff that you guys have to master.
They don't see it though. They just don't see it. They just see the blood, and they don't get it. And it's like, I don't know. It's a lot of stuff, and it's just sort of like, oh, just stop, please. It's the same thing. It's the thing telling people, and it's just like, I don't know. It's exhausting sometimes dealing with people like that. And it's just one of those things. People are exhausting, especially like experts on certain fields, because when they become an expert in certain things, apparently that means that they just look at everything with rose-tinted glasses, and it's just there's a lot. Well, it's like again, the Leon Edwards thing is like they were talking about how he should be happy just to take a moral victory by surviving 5 rounds with Usman, and they were saying like he basically wrote his obligatory. I just said that.
Don't ask me to say words, mate.
Yeah,
I make words up.
I'm terrible when
obituary
pronunciation of what word. Obituary, that's it. Yeah, I still can't pronounce it right, but
that's right. You get
saying
punched in the head for a living.
Obituary and all these different things, exactly. And it was just like, it's DC, the Yanks and the wrestling where they literally just go add-ons for other wrestlers and different things. And like the only time DC got excited in that fight was when Leon took Usman down. When Usman was dominating Leon, then he was back on a roll. And then when obviously Leon decided one shot sleep.
He basically was like, I've had enough of this now. I might as well. Ping.
The thing I liked though, and the thing I did like, was you got to see everyone in the crowd, all the Yanks, and there was like 3 or 4 Yanks in the one corner, all from his Paragon Sports, and it's all from his managers, his manager, who was celebrating. Everyone else was just silent. They were all silent. I seen people from the PI completely silent, just sat there in shock. And they were all shocked because the pound for pound current GOAT just got sparked. And it's
I think Joe Rogan summed it up with his reaction. Joe Rogan's reactions are the best when it's a big knockout. That's an unexpected one. It's brilliant. I could watch. Yeah. That's exactly it. Oh, it's fucking brilliant. It is fucking good, mate. I only caught the highlights of it, to be fair, because I went out and watched the boxing, as I said. But I've said it to everybody that I spoke to, and I'll say it on here as well, because I don't give a shit. I've never heard such biased commentary from the British commentators and press and things like that against a British fighter than I had in that fight. Everything was about Usyk. Yes, Usyk is fucking brilliant. Yes, he is. We all know that. Yes, Ukraine is going through troubles and things like that. That's got nothing to do with the boxing.
No.
And everything was Usyk this, Usyk that, and I was watching it, and I was like, that genuinely, I was like, I'm watching a different fight. Yes, I had a few beers, but I was like, AJ's actually
patriarchy was coming out. The British flag in it was bleeding through your skin.
It was. I was like, it's only what because even down to the highlight clips after each round, it was like, oh look at Usyk here. I was like, Joshua had him fucking on the ropes at different times, smashing him to pieces. I was like, I'm watching a different fight, but I'm gonna get slated now, and I don't care. I don't care.
I didn't watch it, the Joshua and Usyk fight. I had Usyk down that he was gonna win. I thought Usyk would dominate him more than he did.
Do you know what else was
credit?
The other thing I found quite eye-opening and very shocking from the Sky Sports team. So they were saying, oh, what an atmosphere we have in here, blah, blah, blah. All you see is the crowd. They're obviously all from Saudi Arabia. I think it was Saudi Arabia. They're all sat there with their headdress on and all that. Nobody's moving. No, there's a few people with their phones up like this. That's about it, right? But they are obviously pumping in like crowd noises because we were watching it and there's like, oh, all these noises like Joe Rogan, like that. But you're looking at the crowd, you're like, there's not a sausage moving in that crowd. It was like there's about 6,000 people there, but they're making it like
entertaining.
They're making it sound like it's like everything. And then obviously Joshua lost the plot at the end because he's an idiot.
Yeah,
they should have. They should have let him go.
A lot of respect for him for that. Like,
I agree. I agree. They should have just let him go to the back because he obviously stormed off in a huff. He thought he won it. He stormed off in a huff, and then they brought him back. It's like, why have you done that? But
threw his belts into the crowd, didn't he?
Yeah, that was
just got to take it on the chin. Like that's the thing is like.
I think he did.
Matter. Like, yeah, it's still 1%.
He did in those last 3 rounds.
Right, yeah. I do have to go soon.
No, that's fine. The Dragon, that's one thing they did get right on the last fight. They got your nickname right.
Here we go. The Dragon. So it's got the in it, do you know what I mean?
It does.
Makes it sound important.
It does. Right. Thank you very much for coming on, as always.
It was a pleasure, you know that. Man. They're always a pleasure.
When I'm out west, we'll get you in. All right. See you later.
Bye, mate. Bye.